As a servant of God, you need to understand that there are people who are meant to hear the word of God through you. And it doesn't matter how you package the word of God or how you say it or what platform you use or the background or your lifestyle or all of those things. The most important thing is that you seek God's kingdom first. You meditate on the word of God. You learn more about the gospel. You praise and worship, and you share the word of God. Even though you might not be in the position where you want to be in life, but then you need to listen to what God is saying to you, and you need to surrender your everything to God and let God use you so that whenever you speak, people don't hear you, but they hear the voice of God speaking through you. The people, the one that are meant to follow you, will hear the word of God through you. They'll hear God's voice in you, and then they'll follow you. Then the people who are not meant to follow you will not follow you, or they will not hear God in you. And even if it's sad, because sometimes you want your family, which is your children, your siblings, your parents, your relatives, to gather with you, to follow you, to be in unit with you, so that they can follow you as you lead them to God, as you lead them to prosperity, as you lead them to heaven. But it's said because it doesn't work like that. Because if you look at it, even in the Bible, there are many people, servants of God. The list goes on: Moses, Elijah, and whatever. You can go through the Bible, you see that most of these guys, they were picked. Maybe only the one person who was the servant was picked. Some of them were privileged. Maybe they were able to work with their sisters and their brother, like Moses. He worked with his brother, but then some of them, if you look at them, it was only one person who was picked, and then God used that person alone. And then what happens to the rest of the family? Exactly. That means they were not meant to walk in the path of the righteousness. They were not meant to be in heaven with that person. That means they had a different destination. So now don't waste your time trying to get your family to walk the path of the righteous with you, because if they were meant to go with you or follow you, they would you would not have to put in so much effort, so much pressure. They would just hear as you speaking, they would hear God in you, and then they would follow you. But then now, most of the time, it doesn't work like that. Sometimes maybe they're meant to follow another leader, another servant of God. Sometimes maybe they were not even meant to go to heaven, because don't forget, there is two destinations. There's the wide road, which is going to hell, and then there's obviously the narrow path, which is going to heaven. So now what people need to understand is that not everyone is going to make it to heaven. As much as we all would love to be in heaven with our family and our loved ones, but then it doesn't always work like that. So you need, and just because your family or your loved ones are not with you or going with you in the narrow path, doesn't mean that you should stop working for God, because you're not working for your family, but you're working for God. So you need to do God's work and say, preach the word of God, share the message, make a difference, pray for people, do whatever it is that God has called you to do. Praise if you are a deacon or a usher, do whatever it is that you are called to do, and do it with your full heart, to your full potential, and let God use you in anything or everything that you do, even at your workplace or whatever organization, wherever you go to. Let God flow through you and go out there and win more souls for God's kingdom.